I can't believe we're in May. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, and in this video, I'm gonna answer questions that you guys left for me a couple videos ago. I'm assuming these questions will have something to do with testosterone replacement therapy, mental health struggles, and all the variety of modalities of mental health struggles that we as people encounter: anxiety, depression, depersonalization, insecurity, sadness, things like that. There should be some fun, easygoing questions, or at least I would assume, and then there's likely to be some personal questions. One thing I am committed to doing in this video is not lying. So I didn't pre-read any of these, and I have a past history of being pretty forthcoming with my life and what I'm thinking and experiencing. So I'm assuming somewhere in the gamut of all that, we'll make for a good video and have a good time. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for leaving questions if you did, and thanks for taking some time out of your life to be with me. I've been doing this a long time, but I still don't take it lightly. Okay, so I'm gonna answer these questions in the order from which I received them. Let's do it. Vince SZA says, Noah, do you ever feel stuck? Even when in a good patch of life, just get frustrated internally or feel like you could be doing more? I feel like that a lot. Thanks. Vince, I definitely still have that perception of being stuck. I don't really consider it a feeling, but I certainly have that thought like, should I be doing more? A little bit of death by comparison issues that have been getting better the older I get. One thing I will say though, when it comes to these anxious feelings or these sad feelings, for me personally, is when I think that thought or I feel those things, I remind myself that I'm living my own life and I have every right to go at my own pace, and I am not someone else, right? I am me, and my story is written in a unique manner like yours is. So for me, it's just really important to give myself permission to be exactly who I am and to be doing exactly what I'm doing without a sense of judgment, without persecuting and or belittling myself. I do really well at being positive towards myself. Even when certain things aren't going as well as they could be, I focus on things I can highlight, and I just remind myself that I'm okay. It's okay to be exactly who I am. And it usually makes it easier to get out of that space. Thank you for the question. Next question from DTVidsX20. Opinion on psychedelics for helping mental health. Look, I know that it's real. I understand that there is legitimate efficacy behind using psychedelics to address addiction, mental health, certainly trauma. I've even been invited to go on one of those retreats where they're guided and you work with someone specifically. However, my personality is such that my fear, my anxiety surrounding the potential to have a bad trip or whatever I perceive that to mean is so high. I run so hot in that direction that I just think I would sabotage any potential healing benefits preemptively. Like, I'm not even comfortable smoking any weed because of some anxious responses and some paranoid responses from the past. And for that reason, I don't think I'll be partaking, even though I wonder if it wouldn't be very useful, very powerful for me. But I just don't think I have the right frame of mind to do it in a way that would be useful. Rocky Sikander says, I'm impressed by your physique. I'm really confused how to build body because I have tried for months doing dumbbell curls, push-ups, ab crunches, shoulder flies, etc. But my body didn't build that much. Please make a video on how to really build a body or how to easily get buffed in months. I appreciate the candid nature of this question, Rocky. I understand that you asked me to make a video about it, and I think I will. But what I am going to say towards the general theme of what you're saying is that everyone's different, and there's so many factors that play into how you're going to look physically. For example, and this should not be a surprise, and this is something that I'm very open about and will always be open about, but prior to discovering that I had almost no testosterone in my body back in 2011, one of the foundational aspects of my channel, prior to discovering that, despite a pretty high genetic predisposition to be able to build muscle, there was never a prayer that I was gonna cultivate any sort of physique, build some arms or develop some leg strength or have the opportunity to lose some fat without cannibalizing my own muscle. Like, what I'm trying to say is, for me, working out is easy. Following a workout plan is easy. I'm very, very well suited to just do it. But my hormones were never going to allow anything to happen until I got those addressed. So I bring that up regarding myself to say to anyone, look, you could have a thyroid issue. You could have a hormone imbalance. You could have a toxic relationship with food. You could be under some unfortunate misconceptions about building a physique and what's really what. There's a lot going on there. So I'll make a video about what's been my journey, but it's a pretty simple one. And I just encourage you to love yourself either way is what I'm trying to say. 1100599 AD says, I am from another country. What do you think TRT clinics in America are? What do you think TRT clinics in America are created to make money or really help people? Because many on YouTube complain that it often happens that the doctors in these clinics do not work well, but they always take money, and it's very difficult to find a clinic that will really help you. I think there's probably truth in the margins. I'm sure that, but there are some clinics that don't have a good reputation for, or at least teleclinics, don't have a good reputation for creating a deep, meaningful connection and understanding with their patient and going through the proper channels to address a lot of the issues that may have led to having low T. But I've never had that experience because I've always worked with a private person, right? I've always worked with either a naturopath or a doctor, depending on where I'm at. And we've always done it in a healthy, useful way. So I have a lot of empathy for guys that don't have access or I'm not sure how to gain access to a quality practitioner. And I do think it's an individual thing that you'll have to look into, decide for yourself. Not that you were specifically asking that question, however, some will be good, some will be less good, I would say. But boy, I'll tell you one thing. When I was extremely low and deeply depressed and anxious and sad and hopeless and all that, I would have done anything to find some relief. And so it's unfortunate that it's still slightly taboo for men to get help for that sort of thing, and that there has to be any sort of strange conversation around it. I guess abuse is the main issue, of course, but there's a lot of guys, well-meaning guys like you, potentially guys like me, who just want help. Just desperately want help. Okay, Joe Blow says, what was your free testosterone level when you had your issues in 2011, 2012? My free, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 when I first got going. It was extremely low. Rye Baldy says, does anyone ever ask to rub your bald head for good luck? No, but people do. There's a couple people that they don't ask, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've never had someone say, hey, can I rub your bald head? But I've had like good friends or family members, come behind me and just give it a little love. Give it a little love. Mentally Addicted says, best diet for the body and mental health. Great question. I'm one of those people that thinks that the best diet, the best relationship with food for the body and for mental health is the diet or the style of eating that you're actually going to sustain. So perhaps, right, depending on your genetics and depending on how your microbiome works and how you're geared as far as your digestion, your inflammation, and all those things, perhaps there is literally a perfect diet. I'm going to throw out a random thing like a pescatarian diet or Mediterranean or carnivore, let's say. But if you're not able to stick to it, it just doesn't matter. So I realize that's a broad stroke answer, but I just think it's so important to talk about and be thoughtful of the fact that the best diet, in my opinion, is the one you'll stick to. And then beyond that, whatever gets your inflammation down, and whatever keeps you from overeating. So, yeah. But in a perfect world, the person would be fasting when possible, not snacking, drinking lots of water, limited sugar, limited processed foods, and as many whole foods and really nutrient-dense foods as possible. But that's sort of like a obvious sort of thing to say. Sario Williams asks, would like to know how you are about your depersonalization and stuff. Also, how is your migraine auras? I haven't experienced abject depersonalization in a very long time, so I'm doing really well in that regard, and I continue to be thoughtful for people that aren't because it's scary. And I had a migraine the other day, and every few months I get one where I get those auras that close in, and then you get a subsequent headache afterwards. But it's doing fine. I know what it is, and I just let it pass. It's not my favorite though. I get in my head about like, am I going blind or something, just for a moment, but then I just silence that with a little bit of reality testing. Aisha Minhad said, "Hi Noah, I have a quick one. How do you deal with anxious thoughts?" I try not to run from them. I try to give them space, and I reality test. Aisha, reality testing is the most powerful and potent way that I've been able to work through fear of and work through catastrophizing, and to deal with getting out of my prefrontal cortex and struggling with the fight or flight thing, right? So I use a variety of tools, but CCC, catch it, check it, change it. It's just a way of finding out if something you're thinking is true and can you prove it. And then ABC therapy, I made videos about it, but just reality testing and then giving myself permission to think anything I want. It's something I've said a lot. It seems to be a relatively new idea to a lot of people, so I don't want to put it away as if it's common knowledge, but the moment I was able to give myself complete and utter permission to think anything at all, no matter what the thought was, right? It just took away a lot of the power, mindfulness practices, stuff like that. A lot of self-love.